The overflow property specifies whether the scroll bar should appear in the element or not. Assume you have a div tag with a lot of content and the space is very much limited. In that case, you want to display the scroll bars, right? You can enable the scroll bars for the particular div tag by using overflow property. The overflow property has 4 possible values, that is visible, hidden, scroll and auto. So when you talk about visible, when the content exceeds the limit, the extra content also will be visible below the element. For example, this is the element. There is too much of content inside it, which exceeds the limit. So the extra content will be below the element, exceeding the limit of width and height. This is what we call it as visible, because the extra content is visible outside the element. And when you say hidden, the extra content will not be visible on the screen. So whatever the content we have inside the limits of the width and height, only that content will be visible inside the element. So this is hidden. That means if there is some other content outside the element, that will not be visible. And in case of scroll, there will be a certain horizontal scroll bar or vertical scroll bar across the element to scroll the content up and down. And in case of auto, the scroll bar is visible. So what is the difference between scroll and auto? In case of scroll, even though the content is lesser than the element size, the scroll bar will be always visible. So both horizontal and vertical scroll bar will be always visible even though the content is very much less. But in case of auto, if the content exceeds the limit, then only the scroll bars appear. If the content is less than the actual element size, the scroll bars will not be visible. So auto is better than scroll. So if you want to show the overflowed content outside the element, use visible. If you want to hide the overflowed content outside the element, use hidden. And if you want to display the scroll bar, always use a scroll. And you want to display the scroll bar whenever it is really needed, then use auto. The default value is visible. That means if you don't specify any value for overflow property, then automatically it will take it as visible. In the codes project, I would like to apply the overflow property in the seasons div tags in order to show the content with the scroll bars. So this is the content of Indian climate, and I would like to add some content to it in order to display the scroll bars for the div tags. And I am removing the special style for winter. So there are 4 div tags with common class name as season. Now I am going to increase some content. So I am going to copy paste the content. So this is the content I would like to show in the page. So this is the updated content. Now I want to set width and height for each season div tag. So go to the style of season and add some padding, for example 5 pixels padding, and also then width and height. For example, let's say 300 pixels, height is 200 pixels. Now what exactly happens is that the actual box dimensions are changed, that means width and height has been changed. So whichever the content exceeds the limit, that is also visible below the box. So it may overlap the other box. That means the content of summer is overlapping the winter. And the content of winter is overlapping the rainy, and so on. In order to avoid the overflow, I just add the property called overflow hidden, which means that whichever the content exceeds the limit of width and height should be invisible. So in that case, the extra content which exceeds the limit of width and height is invisible. Only the content which fits in the size is visible. Now I am going to change the property value as auto. which means that automatically the scroll bar is appear in order to scroll the content. But there is another value called scroll. I just mentioned the value as overflow scroll. So in that case also the scroll bar is visible. So what is the difference between scroll and auto? One difference is that in case of scroll, both horizontal and vertical scroll bars are at a time enabled. So in this case the horizontal scroll bar is useless. And another difference is that in that case also the scroll bar is visible in a disabled mode in case of overflow scroll. So that is the reason you can think about avoiding the scroll. You can display the scroll bar by using auto. So I bring back the content and specify auto instead of scroll. So this is the best of it. This is all about overflow property in CSS3.